Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Guntown Podcast, episode 218. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving it a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of A Vision of Beauty and Events by Keya. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by her story. Let's chop it up with Keya Pitts. Keya, how's it going?
It is great. How are you doing?
I'm glad to hear that, and all is well on my end too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to speak with me a few minutes.
Sure, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we'll talk about all the great things you got going on with A Vision of Beauty and Events by Keya LLC. But before we talk business, let's get to know the woman behind the brand. Born and raised in Shorter, Alabama. How was your upbringing in Shorter?
I had a great upbringing. I have an amazing family background. I tell you, my mom and my dad, they both worked at the VA in Tuskegee, retired. I'm country girl again from Short, Alabama, raised there, was in the DC Wolf Marching Band, if you ever heard of that. People who know about DC Wolf know we had one of the baddest bands in the land. So just real country family oriented young lady, just love my home.
Okay, sounds good. And that's awesome that your parents got a chance to work for the VA in Tuskegee, and just hearing you talk about your upbringing, country girl from Shorter, Alabama. Sounds like you had a great village around you growing up.
Definitely had great support. My mom, my dad, I have a brother, Nelson McLeod Jr. He goes by. We're 10 years apart. He's much younger than I am, but he's up in Huntsville, Alabama right now. But it's just the two of us, didn't have a big family. My grandmother, which I call Granny, was very intricate in my upbringing as well. She, unfortunately, I lost her this year, the first of the year in January, but she was the rock of the family. At 92 years old, she passed away, but she was the strong lady, and she instilled the values in us in our family.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely want to offer my condolences to the loss of your grandmother.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes, ma'am. 92 years. What a life. Like I'm talking about that's a beautiful life, a great long life. And just hearing you talk about her, like sounds like she was the rock of the family, kept everybody in line, kept everybody on point, and ain't ain't
it.
ain't nothing like Big Mama. I mean Granny, Big Mama. I mean like whatever you
Right,
ain't nothing.
exactly. Yeah, so everybody listen, we all got one or the other. They go either be a granny or they go be a big mama. But they mean the same in every family.
Yes, ma'am. And it's just nothing like it. I mean, like, hey, when Granny walk in the room, Granny command everybody's attention and everybody get in line. Like Granny don't play no games. Even in her elder years, I'm pretty sure everybody respected her. And when she walked in the room, everybody stood at attention and listened.
Definitely always that. Listen, everybody knew, just like you said, when Granny walked in the room, it's like when E.F. Hutton talked, people listen. Well, that's the same way it was with Granny. I mean, she just always had a strong voice in the family, well respected, not just in the family, but in the community as well. She loved people genuinely. She helped take care and raise so many people in the community, kids as well as cook for people. She never met a stranger. If you came to her house for the first time, she didn't have to know you. The first thing she go say, do you want something to eat? And there was never nobody that came to her house that did not feel welcome, because she took care of everybody and fed everybody.
Yes, ma'am. That's awesome stuff. Nothing like community. And I know times are a little different than back then, but yeah, just that, just feeding everybody, not meeting a stranger. Like that's what it was all about back then. Just good old community.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right. That was it.
Yes, ma'am. So after you finish up your school in high school and all that good stuff, did you go to college, military, or did you go right to work?
So what I did, I went to after I graduated from high school at DC Wolf, I went to Alabama State University for 1 year. And I was at Alabama State. Really didn't know what direction I was gonna go in. But coming up at that time, my mom very big on education, and she was like, "You go do something. You ain't gonna just stay here. You going to college." And so that was what she really wanted me to do. But I had no idea what I really, really wanted to major in. And so I went to Alabama State for a year. I thought I was going to pursue a career in communications, and then I thought I was going to be into psychology. But as they say, sometimes God has other plans for us. And during that time, while I was at Alabama State University, after 1 year, I was just like, God, I do not know what I want to do. And it was my aunt who brought to my attention that I've always enjoyed doing hair. I used to play with dolls, and honestly, I did people hair in the community. Even when I was in high school, that I would do some of my classmates' hair. So I had a natural talent for doing hair that she recognized. And she said, "Why don't you go to school to do hair?" And I was like, I didn't think of that. And so it was like a light bulb moment when she said that. And so I decided that following fall to go to school in cosmetology. And at that time, it was JP Tech, John Patterson. Now is known as Trenum Technical School. But I went to JP Tech at that time and got into cosmetology and finished 10 to 11 months. I completed my schooling and went on to get licensed as a licensed cosmetologist. I started working in cosmetology my third quarter in school, as a matter of fact. One of the managers from Gayfer's Hair Salon, if a lot of people remember that. Gayfer's, now it would be Dillard's to most people. They were recruiting and looking for stylists, and I was referred by one of my instructors to go and work there. And I worked there for a while and continued on that journey into the cosmetology field for 12 years. I own my own business, but then I worked in the hair industry for a total of 30 years. And that's kind of how that went immediately following high school and then into college.
Okay. Hey, I definitely appreciate you for sharing that journey and did that 1 year at the Alabama State University. So I got to ask you, Kia, so that 1 year you were there, how was the HBCU experience for you?
Oh, it was great. Listen, it was probably too good for me at that time. Listen, I had a great time at the Alabama State University. My mom used to have to send for me to come home. Because growing up in the country, the last thing we wanted to do was to go back home.
Right.
So if you had an opportunity to leave home to go to college, you were happy because you were like, okay, I know where I'm not going, and that's back home no time soon. So being at Alabama State was a great experience. And I enjoyed. And the thing that's interesting, I was in the high school band and when I was at DC Wolf, and I actually had an opportunity to do band camp. My band director, Mr. Ricky Malone, at that time when I was in high school, sent me to a band camp to get some training as a majorette. So I had an opportunity to actually experience being at Alabama State University prior to even becoming a student there during my band camp. But it was a great experience. It's nothing like it, I should say.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And hey, I definitely understand, like you said, like that 1 year you were there, you had a good time and got a chance to get out the country and go up to the Alabama State University. And I know it was just a culture shock being around all those different people from different walks of life. And hey, colleges, I mean, I graduated from Alabama State. I know how easy it is to have too
Mhm.
much fun, so no judgment here.
Right, definitely. Yeah. you definitely have to stay focused on the bigger purpose. And so that was one of the things I tell you, I realize now at an older age, if I could do things differently, I would definitely would have partied less, if I must be
Right.
honest here, and really focus more on my education. But at that time, not knowing what direction I was going to go in, I definitely would do things differently.
Absolutely. And no worries, kid. Like I said, no judgment. Like we all have our different journeys and paths and things work out the way they work out. So it was just great that you were able to pivot from that 1 year at the Alabama State University and make your way over to Trenton Tech and get your degrees and get your licenses and certifications in cosmetology. And just hats off to your aunt for just putting that bug in your ear and just reminding you that you had this love for doing hair. And hats off to you for making that pivot and making that adjustment. You said you've been in this using that business for over 30 years. So it
Yes.
all worked out for you, it sounds like.
Yes, it was the hair industry was really a blessing for me. I was definitely working in my gift as well as that was my passion. I enjoyed it. I've always loved making people feel good. So I got my gratification from when I see other people happy. So to see them transform when they get their hair done, transformations, that make me happy. So it was definitely a really, really good business to be in at the time. I was in it for the long time. And actually, the thing that's funny, I was in the salon. I had a salon for 12 years, as I mentioned earlier. And I decided to retire to the hair industry and close the salon. But the thing that's funny, I said retire completely and not do hair at all. But I had a few clients that was like, oh, we'll pay you to come to our house and do our hair.
Right.
And even in me trying to retire, they would not hear it. They did not want me to do that. So I ended up doing concierge styling, where I would say, personal styling for some people. And I would go to my client's house. So I only did a few of them though. They did not want me to get out of it. So
Wow.
it was something, I tell you.
Wow, and that's amazing. It just speaks to the level of excellence that you bring to your clients because one thing about it, in when you're dealing with customers, it's all about providing a top tier experience. And when you
Right.
provide a top tier experience, that leads to repeat customers and then customers telling everybody about you via word of mouth. So the fact that you had a few clients that wouldn't let you retire, that just speaks to your level of excellence and just the great experience and work you were doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely love I honestly I still enjoy doing hair. And believe it or not, even though I've said probably maybe three more times since I've been out of the salon
Right.
that I was retiring, the same couple of clients I am doing their hair now. Because they're just like, no, I'm sorry, I can't go back to the salon. I just want you to do my hair, and I appreciate it. I appreciate them thinking enough of my work to continue to want me to do their hair. So it's a blessing.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely, and that's great that you still got that clientele to this day that still demand your services and won't let you retire and say, "Hey, pull up on me. I need you to come do my hair. Like I don't want to go to the
Right,
salon."
exactly.
Yes, ma'am. No, that's awesome
Yeah,
stuff. Awesome stuff. So let's
right.
talk about what we're here to talk about. Talk about a vision of beauty and events by Keya LLC. So I'm big into brand names and the origins of brand names. So I got to ask you, Keya, what inspired you to name your company this?
Listen, it is so funny that you asked me that, and I almost get chills when I hear someone even say the name. So, when I decided to go back into, I would say, go to school and do continuing education, I went back to AUM. I did their continuing education program as a certified event coordinator. I got my certification in event planning, as a matter of fact. And that was a long time ago. So at the time, I did not know if I was going to actually be doing events as a profession per se, because I've always been the go-to person. You know how family have functions and all of that. But to go back to your question, when I realized that it was in fact going to be a business and I was going to take it to the next level, shout out to my brother, Nelson McLeod Jr., who told me, he said, nobody knows that you have a business by looking at the pictures. And no, I take that back. He says, nobody can see the pictures but you and your telephone. You go do these events and you just take pictures, but nobody knows you even have a business. So anyway, going back to your question, I decided God had given me the name, and I was not sure if it was going to be the right name for the business, but it was a reminder of what I like, a vision of beauty. I love all things beautiful, just whatever it is. So that's where that name came from. God gave it to me and reminded me I love all things beautiful. So anything that I can transform and make it beautiful. So that's where a vision of beauty and events came from. And basically that name kind of represents anything, if it's hair, if it's an event or whatever. But because I love all things beautiful, God reminded me of that. So a vision of beauty and events by Keya was born basically from the name that God gave me.
And that's a very organic way how it all came about, just being a God-given name that you've taken and turned into this business. And it's definitely a very eye-catching name, like a vision of beauty and events by Kia. And it just rolls off the tongue. It's smooth, it's elegant. So hats off to you for getting that download from God and actually turning it into this business.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know what's interesting? I was in the process of trying to shorten the name, and I actually tried to do that. I was going to do, because somebody said it was too long, Avob by Kia. But then my sister-in-law did tell me, she said, that looks too much like Avon. And I
Right.
was like, okay. So I went back to the original name instead of trying to shorten it. And even if you see it on my Instagram page, you'll see A Bob by Kia. But someone told me the name was too long and I really needed to shorten it. But then when I kept thinking about it, I'm like, but that's the name of the business. That's my vision. That's what God had given me. So now I'm good with it. I'm confident in knowing that was the right thing to do, is to stick with the name that God had given me instead of trying to change it to something shorter.
Yes, ma'am. Makes perfect sense, and hats off to you for being willing to stick with the name. Because, yeah, that's spot on. It definitely sounds too much like Avon had you shorten it. Like, so it's good that you kept it as is. And like I said, it's just a smooth name. It just rolls off the tongue. So that's great. And just
I
once
appreciate
again, yes, ma'am. And just a great origin story behind how the name in itself all came about. So in terms of the type of events that you plan, like what type of events do you typically get booked for?
Well, I do a combination of from special occasion events, if it is a birthday party, corporate events. I work with Jack and Jill chapter here in Montgomery on several events when they've had their teas. I do anything from weddings. I plan and coordinate and do decor for weddings. So mainly a variety of things, to be honest with you. Anything from any special occasion that you may be celebrating to corporate meetings, corporate events, intimate private parties, even if they're at home, at the person's home. I can also go into your house and set your space up. I've transformed garages into ballrooms, I would call it, but it will be, of course, on a smaller scale. So I do anything, private events or corporate events, special occasion events, planning and decor,
Okay.
as well as
Mhm.
day of directing as well, for if it is a wedding.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So you do it all. That's what it sounds like to me. hey, from corporate to personal events to weddings, and that's great to have a quality service such as event planning, and people entrust you to plan a wedding, coordinate the wedding, because wedding is a big deal, and it's
Yes,
one of them days you never forget, so you want to get it right. So that's
absolutely.
yes, ma'am. So how long what year did you launch the company exactly?
Officially, I launched the business in 2020. That's when
Okay.
I became LLC. I was already doing events prior to 2020. What I decided to do was make it official in 2020. I have been planning, working at venues as a contract coordinator and all of that way prior to that. Me actually making my business official.
Okay, sounds good. So you officially made it official in 2020, made it an LLC, and no, that makes perfect sense. So hey, I definitely understand that. Hey, go ahead and get the LLC, legitimize it,
Correct.
and start paying this guy named Uncle Sam, because
I tell
he gonna come. Hey, he gonna come find you if you don't pay him.
absolutely, you are absolutely right. And then, that is so funny. I tell you, you when you're trying to take your business to the next level, you want to do things decent and in order. And that's something that I realized if I want to be taken seriously. So, and I sometimes even I don't care how good you are at what you do. It's something about when people see that person is certified and they're legitimate, they'll take your business seriously. So I wanted to make sure that, I had my business set up so I can get those, corporate events and those type of things instead of me just saying, oh, I do decorations or whatever. Like, yeah, you decorate the backyard party,
Right.
So I decided to go ahead and just take the business to the next level.
Yes, ma'am, and that makes perfect sense, and that's spot on because, like you said, people want to know that you're certified in what you say you're doing. Because if you don't have if you don't have an LLC or a social media page or a website or any type of reference point, it's like, okay, you doing events under the table, and nothing wrong with that. But like you said, by you taking your business serious, people take your business serious, and when they see and when they book you, like they know, okay, this is a legitimate LLC. She's certified. She's
Right.
certified in what she says she can do. So, hats off to you for taking the business serious and getting the LLC.
Right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, I just have to laugh at when I think about you mentioned social media and all of that. Listen, I was anti-social media for years. You see, my Facebook is and Instagram is quite new. I think it may be maybe a couple of 2 or 3 years old. And I can thank my brother for that because he had been on me for years. And I just had this complex about social media. And don't get me wrong, because he always told me, he said, that is the best free advertisement you can get. What are you doing? And I was just like, oh, I don't want to be, having to talk back to people and responding. I don't have time for that. And I was just so anti-social media for years. And but I realized he was right, absolutely right. And your advertisement, everybody is on Facebook, everybody's on Instagram. So he said it, that's the best free advertisement you can get, for your business. So I decided to take him up on it and go ahead and start a social media page. So I couldn't sit here and act like I always been on it. Because if he hear this, he'll say, man, she just got on there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, the most important thing is you made the pivot, you made the adjustment to get on social media, and hats off to your brother for encouraging you to get on social media because he's spot on. Like you literally have access to billions of people all over the world just by
Right.
posting your stuff and putting it out there. And I mean, social media, I get it. I can understand why you stayed away from it. I mean, it's very addictive and it's very it's all what you make it to at the same time. Like
Absolutely.
I know it's addictive and I know it's a lot of chaos on there, but if you're very intentional about how you use it, you can definitely use it to build a brand with which is what you're doing now. So hats off to you for making your way over to social media.
Yeah, thank you so much. I need to do better. I'm gonna work on that this year, doing more posting. Right now, my Instagram page is up and my Facebook is up. I've got to get my Facebook page aligned with the business only because you know how sometimes you have your business and your personal all tied in together. So I'm working on trying to separate things so people when they go you can see that my business page is going to be separate on Facebook, so that's coming and that should be happening within the next I hope.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, it's all about making progression and continue to expand your name and build a brand and hey, leverage social media to get more eyes on the
Right.
brand.
Definitely that.
Okay, awesome stuff. So I know you say you officially became an LLC in 2020. You have been doing business prior to contracting yourself out. And of course, we know in 2020 when everything happened, pandemic popped off and everybody was shut down and everybody was in the house, out the way, and trying to stay safe and stuff. So how did you
Right.
stay afloat in terms of just contracting yourself out and doing events during the pandemic?
You know what? Honestly, during that pandemic time, that gave me a lot of time to think about the business and focus on building my brand. I did not do a lot of events at that time, but I did go ahead and do the legwork, for lack of better terms, to get the business set up properly and, everything that I needed to have in place. So when as they say, we got back to some sense of normalcy. I was prepared. So what I did during that time basically is focus on building the business, building the brand, trying to make sure I had all of my I's dotted, all my T's crossed. So whenever we got back to some sense of normalcy, I was prepared to, get put the business out front and hit the ground running.
Okay, sounds good. That's what I'm talking about. Not letting the uncertainty. And I mean, granted, it was a tumultuous time, and I'm not making light of that time. But hats off to
Right.
you for using that time to think, strategize, and figure out where you wanted to go next with the business. Because hey, we were all cooped up in the house, so we had plenty of time to
Absolutely.
think about think about things. So
Right,
it's
right. Too many people weren't doing too many parties or events at that time, but I'm gonna tell you, I did one, and that was my brother's wedding. And that was he actually got married in 2020, and that was the only event I think I did during that time. And we had on masks during that time, so and we were very skeptical about it, but we pulled it off. It was in a huge warehouse, and we had to do of course, set the place up so people can keep their distance, So it turned out to be a beautiful event. We got it decorated. It had enough space to spread out. So it worked out at that time.
Yes, ma'am. Awesome stuff. Hey, that's what it's all about. Just being able to adjust with the times and hey, put the mask on, social distance, and
Right.
sounds like his wedding was great turnout and y'all had a good time.
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. So, just in terms of you being in this event planning space, do you have a instance where you had a short turnaround time in terms of like somebody booked you for an event that was coming up a week or a couple
Mhm.
days from now? Like, have you ever had an event that you had to do a short turnaround time for?
I just did.
Oh
Today.
wow, tell me about it without too many details. Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, today. And literally last week I got called on an event and the event was happening this week.
Wow.
And I just had to make it happen. They told me what their vision was, and I, took down what they were looking for, what their vision was for the event. And basically just made sure that I was able to provide the client with meet all of their requests. And then this client was really easy to work with because she trusted me, and I appreciate that. She gave me her ideas that she had, but she pretty much said whatever else that I wanted to do was fine. So I was able to make it happen for it. And actually, that's why I was saying I had to set up an event today. That's exactly what happened. It was a week notice.
Oh
And
wow.
we made it happen today, got it done. And she was very pleased. And I was so grateful for that opportunity. And I've had actually several that have been quite last minute, but we listen, we make it happen. It's no such thing as can't, is getting it done, basically. The only time I run into a problem with that is if the event is short notice and I'm having to outsource some of my vendors. And what happens, it kind of puts a lot of pressure on me to try to pull the vendors together when it's last minute. But for the most part, they turn out, things turn out. We can always work around some things. So yeah, it was pretty short notice, but like I said, it's about the results at the end of the day.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And hats off to you for getting this event that you just spoke about turned around in 1 week, like getting the vision, getting everything you needed to pull it off, and as well as like you were saying, the client was satisfied with the end result. And the cool thing about those short turnaround times is because time is of the essence, you don't have a
Mhm.
lot of time to overthink and overanalyze. Like you got to make a move. Like you got to take action. There's no time
Absolutely.
to overthink it. So that's the positive side about having a short deadline. Like you got to get it done. Like you can't sit around and think and
Right.
overthink.
Exactly. And you know what I have found? I don't know why, and I don't know if this is a good thing, but I work really well under pressure, where most people would be like, oh my God, I can't do this. But for some reason, I don't care how short of notice I've had. I have literally managed, with the help of God, of course, to pull it off. I've stayed up all night now. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not with me getting a lot of rest, but I have been able to really, really push. And I don't know, it's something about that pressure that really drives me to make sure I get it done and get it done the right way. So, some people they say, why you wait till the last minute? Not me per se, but other people. But when you got to make something happen, you just do what you got to do.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's spot on. 1,000%. I agree wholeheartedly. And just great that you were able to make this event happen and any other event that you've had a short turnaround time, just being able to get the customer's vision, get it done, and produce a great product.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it. I tell you, sometimes I have to laugh at some of the clients because they'll put you on the spot like that now. And they'll call you at the last minute and you're like, okay, and I want this and this and this and this. Oh yeah, and I want this too. And then he's like, okay. Okay, you've studied trying to figure out, okay. And then I want one more thing too, by the way.
Wow.
So at that point, you're like, okay, you do know it's the fifth quarter now, right?
Right, right. Mm.
Yeah, but it's funny. I tell you, you just try to do whatever you can to bring the vision to fruition.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So,
Right.
just in terms of you being a business owner, running this business and being the owner and operator. And so, as it relates to decompressing, like getting away from the hustle and bustle, the grind, like what do you do to decompress?
You know what? I like to spend time with my family. I mean, my husband and we have two adult sons now that are grown and on their own. But I'm good with just relaxing. We may go out and eat dinner. I like going, we Chateau Elan is our like favorite place just to get away that we've gone to. But really just spending time at home, resting, relaxing, enjoying family time. That's pretty much it. And I love to shop. I must say that. I love shopping. I love I love shopping. So that's my way of decompressing. But if I'm home, I can just, relax and just be in my zone and sometimes just, decompress, get my mind ready for the next event or my next venture.
Yes, ma'am. And that's what it's all about. Just having those outlets to get away from the hustle and bustle, the grind, like you were saying, spending quality time with your husband and going out to dinner and shopping and spending time with the family. Like that's what it's all about. Like it's good to grind and work hard and do what you got to do, but at some point in time, you have to decompress and get away from it all. Otherwise, you'll burn out.
Right, you definitely that. Sometimes my best friend, she will give me a call and say, "Hey, what you doing?" We'll go meet up somewhere, sit down and kind of relax and, as they say, just kind of discuss the days of our lives.
Right.
Yeah, so so we get a chance to kind of both of us decompress because she stay busy as well. So
Okay, awesome stuff. That's amazing. So you've done great things with the company, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are some of your short term and long term goals for the company you feel comfortable sharing?
So, well, the short term, let me do the long term goal.
Okay.
I eventually want to have a venue. That is my ultimate goal, that my drive right now is working towards getting my own venue. Um, I believe in creating memorable experiences. I always tell people, people may forget what you say, but they're going to always remember how you treated them. And I want to create a space where people feel welcome, where they could walk into a space and it's about them. It doesn't matter if they are a guest of an event or even if they're hosting an event. I want to create a space where people will get next level customer service. I'm really big on hospitality. I absolutely love hospitality, making people feel good. That is just my whole thing. So I want to create a space where people will walk in and they feel welcome and enjoy themselves. And even if I'm, the person that did the decor or not, you know, if I'm just the owner of the space, I want to just have that environment there for people. So when they walk in the space, they feel welcome, they feel comfortable, they feel loved. They will want to come back and utilize that space again. So that's my short term, that's my long term goal. I hope it don't be too long.
Okay. No, that's awesome. I definitely appreciate you for sharing that and just hearing you talk about everything you've done and just the passion you have for this event planning space. I have no doubt you'll put in the work and make it come to fruition.
Absolutely. Definitely working on that. I have short-term goals, something I'm working on. I can't say exactly
Okay.
what it is yet, but I am working on something else that's coming up really, really soon. As it relates to, that's going to be another part of a vision of beauty and events by Keya. So I'll hope to have that launch real soon, maybe within the next couple of months or so.
Okay. Hey, I definitely understand that. Hey, whatever you cooking up, whatever you got on deck, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a success and a level of excellence, just like a vision of beauty and events by Kia.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. As we wrap up the podcast, I want to ask $1 million questions. So I started this podcast because I wanted to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery. Whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work, growing up in Shorter, operating in business in Montgomery, essentially you're a hometown hero, Kia. So I got to ask you, what do you appreciate the most about the city?
I appreciate the support, the people that reach out to you and give you opportunities. Um, I've had, and I have to say this, being a fairly new business, some people would consider it here, to have someone to entrust you with their vision. And one of the things that I really have appreciated about being here in the city of Montgomery is the networking, being able to work with people through someone else referral, the fact that they're giving me an opportunity to do their events, and had an opportunity just because I did another event that I was given to do. It was the Montgomery Medical Society Gala this year. That was my first, the biggest, one of the biggest events that I had ever done on my own under my LLC, a Vision of Beauty and Events by Keya. But I did that. It was in February. So I appreciate the networking, the opportunities that I've been given, to be able to do some of the events that I have. So that's what I appreciate. One of the things, if I could add something though, I would like to just mention what I like to see more of. I would like to see more of businesses, and especially in the event planning industry, I would like to see more of us working together on events. You know, one of the things that I started doing, because I started doing events and I was doing everything. I'm a one woman show along with my husband and my family that helps me out, right? So I started outsourcing some of the services because I feel like there's enough for all of us to get some, for all of us to be successful, for all of us to be blessed. So I would like to challenge the event coordinators, event others that are in the industry to work with another event planner here in the city. You know, we have a lot of talent here. I have my mentors. If you know of Sweet Luxury events with Madeline and Connie, they're my mentors, and they've given me an opportunity to come on board and work with them on huge events that they may need help on. So if I could say anything or add anything about what I would like to see us do here in the city of Montgomery, especially when it comes to the event industry, is for us to collaborate, work with each other more. You know, I may do florals, you may do backdrops, somebody else may do balloons, whatever it is, whatever your gift is, I promise you, you know, it won't hurt you to work with another event coordinator so we can all make money and be successful together.
Yes, ma'am. That's spot on. Everything you said, that piece about collaboration and just how it's enough for us all out here, and just it. I definitely think that's a great challenge to put out there, and when this does come out and people hear this episode, hopefully people take the challenge and more event planners start to collaborate, and you all put on these luxury events because, like you said, I mean, you may have one specialty and the next person may have another specialty, and y'all come together, and it's just gonna create magic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got a lot of talent right here in Montgomery. We don't always have to go to bigger cities, our neighboring cities, to look for talent. We have it right here in the city of Montgomery. I've seen it firsthand. I've worked with some amazing event designers here in Montgomery. So that's one of the things that I think it would really help us take the business in this industry to the next level.
Yes, ma'am. Spot on. So, Kia, how can the people connect with you? What are your social media handles?
Yes, so you can reach me on Instagram at a vibe by Keya is my personal, but a vision of beauty and events by Keya is my business. So if you see the two of those, just know one is my personal, one is my business. So that's Instagram, a vision of beauty and events by Keya. And on Facebook, it is my name, Keya Pitts. And so, as I stated, I will be working on getting my business Facebook page linked. So that way, when people see my personal, automatically they'll be able to go on to my business page and take a look at that.
Okay, sounds good. And of course, I'll put all of that social media information in the description of the episode. Hey, Kia, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. Thank you for reaching out.
Yes, ma'am. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you.